I've been seeing these cherry glazed nails all over the place this fall, and I had to try it. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. I've seen a bunch of different versions. Some people use a darker red, some people go with like a lighter or a brighter red. I went with this neon red called Smiling's my favorite for my base. Now, if you're new here, welcome. I like to do dip manis and builder gel, and then I like to try to do as much nail art as I possibly can figure out, either with gels or stamping or decals, things like that. So I'm going to start today with my base of dip powder, and this gorgeous red is a neon. It is my favorite red color that I own. I just got a second jar of it because I love it so much, and I've used it so many times over the past couple years, which is saying a lot for me because I have, oh gosh, well over 1,000 dips, probably over 1,500, but I like to be in denial. So if you're new to dipping and you're struggling with getting solid colors to look even, these are some things that are going to help you. So you want to apply your dip liquids thinly and evenly. And what that means is you want to wipe a majority of the dip base off on the inside of the bottle before you even pull it out to put it onto your nail. That's how you are going to get like less dip base on your nail, and you're going to be less likely to flood your cuticles. It's going to, not be like slopping everywhere. So that's something that does take a little bit of practice of wiping the brush on the inside of the bottle and then seeing how much you need to cover your nail. You just need enough liquid to cover your nail. You don't need a ton of liquid when you're dipping. So you can see me here, like I get all of the liquid off the brush. So I really press down my dip base brush into my nail so I can work all of that dip base off the brush and onto my nail. And that's how I know, like part of how I know I'm keeping my dip liquids thin. That is key for getting your nice thin layers for when you're dipping. It's actually better to have a higher number of thin layers than a lower number of thick layers. And after each layer, you want to take a stiff nail brush and brush off the excess powder really well. That's another tip that's going to help you keep your dip layers nice and thin and your nails not looking like chunky and bulky. So with these cherry glazed nails, I am going to go in with gels at the end. So I wanted to be extra careful about keeping my nails thin since gels are a little bit thicker, and you'll see like doing all the chroming steps that I do to make sure that the chrome lasts really long. It adds a little bit more bulk using those gels. So I brush off really, really well. And because the red's neon and pigmented, I wanted to get as much as I could off my skin. Now, there are going to be dips that stain your skin more often. So, like blacks and, deep red, deeper colors. Like this one doesn't really stain my skin much, except for the fact that I have really dry skin. So, even when people say, like, oh, this XYZ color from this brand, like, never has stained my skin. Well, for me, unfortunately, because my skin is so dry, and when I'm doing my nails, I've already like wiped it off with isopropyl alcohol. I get colors like that stain in my cuticles and on my skin a little bit just because my skin is so, so dry. Like, I don't know, it like goes into the cracks. I'm always going to keep it real here. I'm going to show you exactly what my nails look like. I'm not going to try to sit here and pretend like I'm not messy when I dip. Like if you're looking for somebody that's aesthetic, you are in the wrong place. If you are looking for somebody who is realistic, that's probably going to be a lot like what you're like doing your nails at home, then you are definitely in the right place. I do like to pour over my solids. I feel like that really, really helps me to get nice thin layers. And you can see as I'm pouring them over, like how nice and thin my layers are. When you dip your nail into the jar, for me, it just never looked nice. It ended up being thicker. It would get kind of ripply sometimes. I feel like I had to worry about like the timing, if my dip powder or I mean, if my dip base dried too fast and I was dipping it too slow, or if my dip base was a slower dry and then I was dipping it in and it was like, getting all chunked up. So pouring over is key to me to getting a beautiful dip manicure. It's like one of the things that I'm absolutely adamant about. Now that's for solids and shimmers. So if you're working with glitters, flakes, or foils, laying your nail flat onto the powder is such a great option. And that's another reason why it's so good to practice getting your dip base really thin. I use these dip cups from SJ3, and this way it's so much easier for me to pour the powder over because I just pour it right in. It's got like the little lip at the end that you just squeeze the dip cup back together and pour it back into your jar. This next step is an absolute must for me, and I do this regardless of what kind of dip powder I'm using. Anytime I'm using dip liquids, I have to finish with clear dip powder. I don't care if I'm using a solid shimmer, flake, foil, glitter, huge glitter pieces, glitter shards, iridescent flaky foils, whatever it is. Clear dip powder is my absolute last layer. I do this because I like to buff my nails nice and smooth, even though I get a really good application and don't need to do a lot of buffing. I just love the feel of when my nails are buffed super smooth. Even with, the top coat that would probably smooth a good amount of it out. I just like to have that clear dip powder to protect my color. And I do like to go around my cuticles with an e-file bit to get that, quote unquote perfect looking cuticle line, just to get like a nice cuticle line. And this way, when you have clear on top of it, you're not accidentally e-filing or buffing off any of your color. It protects your color really well. Once you're done with the clear dip powder, brush off the excess and then go in with your activator. Now, since I'm using red, you see after each time I go on my nail, I wipe off my activator brush on a lint-free wipe. This helps the red color from transferring into the activator, because then what can happen is, let's say I use a white next, my white might look red because some of that red coloring from the red dip powder might get into my activator brush. And I've seen a lot of people like get really frustrated and say, my nails keep getting stained, and that's a lot of what happens if you're using, any kind of dark color. You definitely don't want to stain your activator brush. The way that you know your nails are ready to be buffed and filed and shaped is if you tap on them and makes like a hard clicking, sound. If you tap on them and it feels any bit squishy or doesn't make like a hard tapping sound, they are not hardened. I like to go around my nails with this flexible file. This is from OG Dip Powder. Actually, everything I'm using in the video here, the dip powder, the dip liquids, they're all from OG. I will make sure I leave everything linked in the description. If I don't say it, it's linked in the description. I often forget in videos. I probably only say what I'm using in about maybe half my videos. I get so excited about the Mani, I forget to say like what products that I'm using. So I go around with my flexible file to really buff them smooth. It's like a giant buffing block. Then I take a hand file and just make sure that my shaping looks nice. Once I'm done with all that, I go in with my e-file. Because I haven't been feeling that great lately, just some not scary health issues like earlier this year, just some other ones. I've been using this other cuticle bit from Pana. I'll make sure I link that too, to go around my cuticles. It's just way gentler. You see, like, I can even like gently brush it against my skin and it doesn't cut me up. So if you're somebody who's struggling with cuticle lines, that is a great bit for you. And then once I go through and get my cuticle lines looking all nice and clean, nice and crisp, I go back in with the flexible file and really make sure that I smooth down near the cuticle, that I smooth down along the sides, so I have that beautiful shape to my nails. Then I spray my nails with my trusty isopropyl alcohol so that they're nice and clean. I wipe them off. Then we can get into the chroming. So this is the way that I chrome. I followed how a couple different nail techs did it, and like nail tech educators, because I realized that I was not chroming properly. I wasn't fully curing my chrome. So this is the way that I've been doing now. And I try to I always do it this way just to be extra careful. So what you want to do is you want to apply gel base to all your nails. And I do that one nail at a time and then just do a quick flash cure so that at the end I can do a full cure of all 5 nails. I do my thumb thumb separately than I do my pointer through pinky. That's because you tend to hold your thumb at like a weird wonky angle, and you want to make sure that your gels are fully cured. You do not want to leave uncured gels on your skin. That's why you see me a lot during my manis using a little angled cleanup tool along the sides of my nails. It actually has isopropyl alcohol on it, and I'm wiping off any gel that might have gotten on my skin before I do my cure. I am a big proponent of using gel base first down on your nails. Some people can get away with doing gel top coat right away, but for me, if I do gel top coat right away, then what happens is it peels right off. And when I'm wearing my manis, I never know whether I'm going to wear it for like 2 or 3 days or 6 or 7. So I always do my nails as if I'm going to wear them for a while. Now, after I did the gel base on all my nails, I did that full cure, and now I'm working on my gel top coat. And this is where I made a mistake. So I'm going to tell you the mistake that I made so that you don't make it too. When I do my gel top coat, because this is what you're going to rub the chrome in, you don't want to over cure it or the chrome tends to not stick. So I wasn't paying attention and cured my nails too long. So I did like a quick 5-second flash cure on each one and then did a full cure. And I accidentally pressed the 60-second button instead of like the 10-second button. Normally I press the 10-second and I do like 20 seconds of the flash cure, and then I rub the chrome in and then finish, brush off any of the excess and then finish curing. So you'll see as I'm rubbing the chrome in that it's sticking, but like it's hard to tell in the video, but it ends up not being as even as I would have liked. Luckily, this chrome powder, it's called Pearly Shine. It is absolutely gorgeous. It looks gorgeous over so many colors. It covered up some of the flaws. Like you can see even on my thumbnail that it looks more chrome towards the back of my nail than towards the tips. And that's because I over cured. So it just wasn't sticking as well. I would recommend curing for about 20 seconds. Some people even like to cure for 15, but like 15 to 20 seconds seems to be like the magic number to cure the gel top coat before you rub the chrome in. And if you're using gels, please use some kind of tool to rub your chrome in. Do not use your fingers to rub the chrome into your flash cured gel. That's just going to be more of a risk for allergies. So I always use these little eyeshadow applicators. I bought like a massive pack off Amazon a couple years ago, and I'm still using the same pack. So you can see like what I like to do is rub the chrome in with one side of the applicator, and then I go and flip it onto like a cleaner applicator, side, and really get that chrome to look nice and smooth. So I kept trying to go over it with more chrome to try to get the chrome to stick. It wasn't sticking as well as I would have liked. The look was still absolutely gorgeous, but when I do chrome again this winter, I will pay attention to how long that I'm flash curing the gel top coat before I go in and rub the chrome in. One thing that you definitely want to do is, so you rub the chrome into a flash cure gel top coat. Well, then you have to go and you have to finish curing that gel. This was something that I didn't know to do when I first started doing chrome. I didn't see it in any of the videos. It wasn't until probably like 2 years ago that I saw a nail tech educator, I can't remember who, say like, hey, you have to finish curing that gel. So once I get all the chrome on, I take a clean, I actually use a clean ombre brush and brush off any of the excess chrome powder that's on my nails. And then I go in and I finish curing that layer. So let's say I had cured for only 20 seconds, then I'd go in and finish curing for the rest of the 40 seconds that layer needed, since I had only flash cured it to do the chroming. If you're somebody who likes to wear your manis for a long time, these are steps that I would highly recommend. So after I finish flash curing that gel top coat for the chrome layer that I just did, I go in with gel base on all my nails and cap my edges. And then I go in with gel top coat after I've fully cured the gel base. I know I see a lot of nail accounts on different social media platforms not doing the gel base, but you have to remember that when you're watching content creators, a lot of them are doing their nails every day, every other day, every 3 days at most, because some of them aren't doing it for longevity. I like to always try to show what to do for longevity just because, a lot of you are probably wearing your manis for more than like a day to 2 days, and even I sometimes like to wear mine for a while. So when I finish curing that chromed layer, I go in with the gel base and always cap my edges, do the full cure, and then go in with the gel top coat and do the full cure for that layer as well. Something else that I learned from all the research is that even though you're using a no wipe top coat, you need to clean your nails with isopropyl alcohol, because even with a no wipe gel top coat, there's still a little residue left, and you definitely don't want to rub that into your skin when you put your cuticle oil on. Now that you know how to chrome, come learn how to use gel base and gel top to do gel method dip nails. Thanks for joining me today, nail crew.